the first midweek game for the Philadelphia Union in 2017, and tonight the club returns home looking to build off back-to-back wins against the top team in the West, the Houston Dynamo. Hi atop Section 113 at Talent Energy Stadium. Welcome to Union Pregame Live. I'm Dave Leno.
And I'm Marissa Pilla. You know, the Union find themselves with a nice little bit of momentum after their last couple successful visits. And, you know, they've had such a great performance against the New York Red Bulls, and a big question following that match was, can they do that again on the road this time in D.C.? And the answer to that question was yes. They had a great performance on the road, and a lot of that had to do with their offense. They've scored 7 of their 15 goals in the season in the last 2 matches, but not only that, it seems that they went back to last year's mantra, which was defense first.
They've been doing a lot of collective defending and a lot of two-way players like Pico and Pontius. Not only will you see them dominate on the wings in the final third, but they'll also come back and aid that back line in front of Andre Blake. But turning to the offense, let's take a look at the offensive prowess for the Union in the final third from their last 2 wins, beginning with the Red Bulls a couple weeks ago. Here's Sapong's hat-trick. He beat Long for the first one, and then Bedoya found Fabian Herbers on the right flank. Bends it into Pontius on the back post and finds Sapong for the easy volley past Robles. And after the handball by Paranel, here's Sapong with the penalty for his first career hat-trick. All those goals came in a span of 11 minutes, Marissa, and it carried over to D.C. on Saturday.
Well, right before halftime, Harris Medunjanin fires this one from a different zip code past Bill Hamid to put the Union up 1-0. Then in the second half, Oguchi Onyewu gets ahead on this one to get the Union a 2-0 lead. Now in the 77th minute, CJ Sapong with the steal. Medunjanin picks it up, finds an open Fafa Pico on the wing, and he puts this one top shelf for a 3-0 lead for the Union. Later on, Fabian Herbers wanting to get in on the action. Alejandro Bedoya on the wing finds him back centrally, and Herbers one-times his beautiful shot for the 4-0 win for the Union. It's the first time in team history the Union had 3 players score their first MLS goals in the same match, in Medunjanin, Onyewu, and Pico. Looking at the stats from that match, 19 shots, 9 of which were on goal. Only allowed 1 shot on goal, which is huge because the defense is helping out Andre Blake, who's currently on a 273-minute shutout streak, which is the longest current streak in the league right now, and it's a personal best for Andre.
And if you go back to that D.C. matchup, if you recall, United only put a shot on goal in the 82nd minute. So you have to credit that back line also in front of Andre Blake. In addition to that, the number 6 player is Harris Medunjanin, who's that defensive mid, splits those center backs, in this case, Elliott and Onyewu out wide. They've been doing a marvelous job in that back 4. And yesterday we caught up with Ray Gaddis and Fafa Pico, and they said they did a full 90-minute performance against the top club in the West tonight.
From our striker, CJ Sapong, all the way to Andre Blake, we're trying to be a cohesive unit and do the dirty work and defend together.
We have a good chemistry at the moment, and the team's gelling well. It was a rocky start, like everybody knows, but we just want to keep that going tomorrow, and looking forward to getting goals and doing a good job at home to get 3 points.
We just have to remain focused at the task, and we know we're facing a good Houston side midweek, so our focus is the same.
And building off of what Fafa Pico said, the chemistry, the energy around the team has really shifted since getting these 2 wins on their record. And because of that, it wasn't that they lost confidence in themselves. It's just that they feel a little lighter, not as much pressure on them right now, which is great going forward because with this Houston team, they're going to have a tough opponent. But because of those good results, they've been able to kind of dig themselves out of that hole they found themselves in the Eastern Conference standings.
And as we take a look at the table in the East, it is Toronto FC, who has won its last 6 and sits at the top with Columbus and Orlando 6 points behind. The Red Bulls have lost their last 3 but remain above the red line as the Union leapfrog Montreal and are just 3 points from the Revs, who occupy 7th. And the Union also have 2 games in hand over Toronto, Columbus, and the Red Bulls in the East. And Marissa, tonight going up against Houston, they want their shape to be compact in the defensive third, and they cannot give up the ball in dangerous areas against the Dynamo.
Well, Houston plays a much different style of play than what the Union saw in their previous opponents in the New York Red Bulls and DC United. So for more on tonight's match, we're bringing in our guys in the booth, JP Della Camera and Tommy Smith.
Thank you, Marissa. Maybe 2 guys that get lost in the shuffle, Tommy, when we talk about this defense. So the 2 holding midfielders, Medunjanin and Bedoya, playing well individually, but even better collectively.
Yeah, the coaches staff have made a few very small changes with these two. And Marissa talked about chemistry, and these two lads certainly have gotten their chemistry together, and they're playing very well as a unit. Bedoya and Medunian, and that's been a difference. They've dropped back, they've had the back four, and they also are able to go forward and create chances, and we saw them score as well.
Last couple of games, Bedoya has done a terrific job on playmakers like Kleshton and Acosta, and tonight he and others will have to watch out for Alex, who leads this team in assists.
Yeah, otherwise you could be in real trouble if you don't keep an eye on him.
So Bedoya and Medunian, starters every game. They're in tonight's starting lineup once again, and for the rest of the starting 11, here's Marissa and Dave.
Thank you very much, JP. Here's Jim Curtin's 4-2-3-1 formation with goalkeeper Andre Blake looking for his 4th consecutive shutout.
And on the defensive end, don't expect Fabi and Regattas to really push up as far as they used to, because Houston has a tendency to really exploit space with outlet passes, so they're going to want to take that away.
Bedoya occupies the number 8, running box-to-box, while Medunian in the number 6 leads the Union build-up in the transition game.
And Elsinho is back in that number 10 role because Roland Alberg suffered a quad strain. Curtin pleased with his performance so far, but hopes to get him on the ball a little bit more tonight.
And earlier tonight, JP Delacamera caught up with Union Sporting Director Ernie Stewart to get his thoughts on the club's recent turnaround on this Herculean stretch. That interview is coming up next.